All right, here's another question that is worth going over. Tell whether the statement is true or false. What in the world does that mean? It sounds like an English class question. All right, you evaluate both sides of it. So on the left I have 8 minus 2 in the bracket, which is positive 6. On the right side, I have negative 2 minus a negative 8. That's our double negative, so this is negative 2 plus 8. So on the right side, it'll be, next line is positive 6. On the left side, it's going to be negative 6. Are those two the same thing? No. So this is false. On the right, I have negative 8 minus 2. So that will be negative 10. On the right side of the equation, I have 2 minus a negative 8, double negative again. So 2 plus 8 is positive 10. But now, I have a negative and a negative on the left side. These are now the same thing. 10 equals 10. True statement? Yes. So they have to equal each other in order to say true. I think I do recall one of those being on the test, yeah. $16 less than a number. So introduce an x. This is our variable stuff. $16 less than a number. So I think that the x might come first, like you said. Okay, order does matter. If you said to yourself 16 less than 20, it would be 20 minus 16, right? The product of 8 and the sum of negative 6 and a number. We know by now that this is going to be x. The product of 8. Product is multiply. So product of 8 and we said last time that this thing kind of means quantity with adding, which should tell you parentheses. Sum of negative 6 and a number. Okay, a couple more of those. Okay, now we have our 4 inequality symbols. Greater than. Less than. Greater than or equal to. Less than or equal to. All right, pick a number.
2.
All right, 2. Pick a number greater than 2.
3.
That was easy. Easy one. 3 is greater than 2. Okay, true statement. If you had something like this, 2 is greater than 3. False. All right. 2 is less than 3. 3 is greater than or equal to 2. That's true, right? Because it doesn't have to be equal. It could be equal or greater than. 3 is bigger. So it's true. 2 is less than or equal to 3. Okay, writing some inequalities. You're really just comparing on the number line. Which is bigger, which is smaller. Twelve is greater than twice a number. So 12 is greater than twice a number. One half a number is less than or equal to the difference of 14 and 2. Try and break the sentence up as best you can, you know. You get this question on the homework and I believe on the test as well. It says, write the statement with the inequality symbol reversed, but keep the same meaning.
So 14 would go in front and just flip it.
Yeah, just flip the whole thing. Super easy. Okay? If I have to write this with a less than or equal to, well, I have to switch the numbers. So now it reads 14 is less than or equal to 20. This says 9 is less than y. But it gets a little tricky with the variables, because like if you read the variable, you can read it as y is greater than 9. So I don't know if this will help you or not, but consider read from the variable. Might make more sense. So if I say this as y is greater than 9, I have to switch the arrow and then switch both of them. You see how that still reads y is greater than 9? It's the same meaning. Switch arrows and number. Number is a solution. So we're into equations now. They give you this x, and we will plug x in. Use parentheses. I will write 8, negative 3, plus 12, minus 2, parentheses, negative 3, equals negative 6. It's just like the true and false question. So 8 times negative 3 is negative 24, plus 12. Now I can do negative 2 times negative 3, and that becomes positive. I'm going to go down here now. So negative 24, maybe I can do it a little bit in my head. Negative 24 plus 12. So that would be negative 12, right? So negative 12 plus 6 equals negative 6. Next line. Negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6. True or false statement? So true. I like it.
So you just plugged in negative 3 for x, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Plug in negative x. Or plug in negative 3 for x, and then evaluate. And so, yes, negative 3 is a solution. Okay, so that's what I do there. We did talk about viewing negative numbers as thinking of moving right and left on the number line. So they're going to ask you to like add or subtract positive and negative fractions, which we did in a previous chapter. But then they're also going to ask you to graph it on a number line. The same rules apply. It's two negatives, which makes this whole thing into plus. Like, they don't want you to ever forget. Make a common denominator, add fractions. Right? So what is a common denominator of 9 and 18?
2.
Times 2 on the top and bottom.
But I never have to fill out this
leave the denominators alone when you add and subtract. And so this will become 24 over 18. It doesn't look very nice because that number line doesn't have any 18s on the bottom. So you got to reduce it. Let's see, divided by 6, right? So 24 divided by 6 is 4. And then 18 divided by 6 is 3. So 4/3. All right, where is 4/3 on that number line? Like back to previous chapters and stuff, right? So it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes 1/3, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3. You said that. Yeah. You got it. Let me see if I can kind of explain what it's going to be like on that computer. So like on the computer, you're going to get a blank number line, right? But when you click on the mouse at 0, you'll be able to, and it'll for you from between 0 and 1, and you click 0 and it'll drag and it'll go 1, 2, 3. So your dot on the computer you'll be able to drag it. You drag the dot 3 times, well, that's how you know it's broken up into thirds. So each time you drag the dot, it'll be 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, and then you have to go to right here. So just kind of click and drag the mouse, if you know what I mean. I'm going to break right there for a little bit. Any questions?